Hello, future nurses. This is the second in a series of videos teaching you how to solve for fractions for the HESI. And in the previous video, if you haven't already watched it, go back and watch it first. But in the previous video, we learned how to convert fractions into decimals. And at that point, you've got decimal numbers that can be entered into the calculator. So you can do any sort of math function with them, which just means you can add them, subtract them, multiply them, divide them. And so I'm going to do a quick review of what we learned in the previous video. Okay, so here's what we did in the previous video. We took the fraction 3/4, said that was equal to 3 divided by 4, which in a simple calculator, we were able to get the answer of 0.75. Similarly, with the mixed number 2.5, we took the 2, we added the fraction part, which is 1 divided by 2, which gave us 2 plus 0.5, which gave us 2.5. Then if we have a addition problem using these two fractions, then 3/4 plus 2.5 just becomes 0.75 plus 2.5. Add those together in your calculator and you get 3.25. Okay, so say we got that answer, 3.25. And then our answer choices on the HESI, because all the fraction problems on the HESI should all be multiple choice. So, and then say you have answers like this: 4 1/4, 3/8, 3 1/2, 3 1/4. So how do you know which one is the correct answer when we have 3.25? We have the decimal. And so we could convert the decimal into a fraction, but I find it much easier to convert fractions into decimals. So even though you'd have to convert all 4 of these into decimals, you're going to be able to do that a lot more quickly. So starting with the first one, that would be equal to 4 plus 1 divided by 4, which would be 4 plus 0.25, and that would be 4.25. So that is not correct. 3/8 is equal to 3 divided by 8, which is equal to 0.325. Looks really similar, but the decimal point is in the wrong place, so don't get fooled by that. This is 0.325, not 3.25. Different thing, also not correct. 3 1/2 is 3 plus 1 divided by 2, which is 3 plus 0.5, which is 3.5, also not the same as 3.25, so we can cross that out. And hopefully the last one works because it's the only one we have left. 3 plus 1 divided by 4, so 3 plus 0.25 equals 3.25, and that is your correct answer. So 3 1/4 is the fraction equivalent to 3.25. Those are the same mathematically, and D is your correct answer. So the last thing I want to tell you about this is that we actually didn't even need to work out the decimal equivalent for answers A and B. Why is that? Notice that our decimal solution is 3.25, and we have 2 possible answers in here. that are 3 plus a fraction. If you have 3 and then a decimal point and then anything after it, its fraction equivalent has to start with a 3. It has to be 3 and then the fraction. So answer A is 4 and then the fraction. And answer B, that's just a fraction, that is like being 0 point something. So see how A worked out to be 4.25 because it's a 4 and then a fraction. And B turned out to be 0.325 because there is no whole number there. So it's like having a 0 and 3/8. So we actually could have skipped, we could have crossed those both out before even doing any of the converting fractions to decimals. So in reality, we only had to convert answers C and D into decimals to find the correct answer, making this even faster. So that's another good tip. In the next video, we're gonna go over the same stuff again, just a bunch of additional examples.